Hey guys, Bipolar Barbie here, and today I wanted to have a little bit of a morning rant about I don't know exactly what you would call it. It's like a combination of people assuming and people kind of jumping to conclusions based on like their own emotional experience. And this is really apparent, I guess, in a lot of things that I write. A lot of stuff that I write and post on my Instagram is very, it's not like accusatory. It's not necessarily opinionated, although I do see how that could come across. It is just my opinion on the matter, you know what I mean? But it's more from an observation point of view. It's kind of, yes, it's subjective, but it's like my experience with the world, but it's more the way that I observe things. And I never, like, just because I feel strongly on a certain point, because I decide to bring awareness on like one particular issue, one particular aspect of something, it doesn't mean that I don't see the other side. And I think that's where people judge me based on the chapter or the post that they walked in on, rather than like my entire story to get the theme of what it is that I'm doing. Whole like jumping to conclusions thing really does frustrate me a lot. Because I just think people have this idea, like, God forbid someone gets offended. I mean, these days, like, people get offended for anything that you do. And I think that I see it a lot on my pages where people miss, like, the entire point of what it is that I'm trying to say. And I guess this honestly comes from a place of them being hurt. If it's like the first couple of lines they don't agree with, or there is some aspect of it that makes them feel a certain way, then they're going to go on some form of like rampage to criticize someone, and they're going to miss the complete point. And I think, there's misinterpretation in text, there's misinterpretation in like any form of communication, which is really, I think people just need to accept that that is the case, that you don't know. Like, just because someone is putting a story out there, that someone is putting a point of view out there, especially when I do, like, each post, each video on, like, a very, I try and do it on, like, a very small aspect, because if I explained everything in great detail, the entire concept in entirety, like, you'd be reading for the rest of your life. You'd be watching videos for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So I think breaking it down to a certain aspect and a certain opinion on it doesn't mean that I don't think there are alternative opinions. Just because I want someone to have a look at it from my point of view doesn't mean that I don't think there are many other point of views involved in it, because there definitely are. I think we just need to be mindful that I think it's kind of funny because people who like feel particularly defensive about the stuff that I say, who get that feeling like, no, I don't agree with that, that's so wrong. It's like, I'm probably talking to you guys. It's like, if you kind of feel like that, well, you're probably the people that actually need to hear it the most, which is really funny. So if you find yourself getting particularly defensive to anything that I say, I'm sorry if I offend you, but at the same time, like, maybe you actually need to kind of take that moment and think, okay, why is it that I am getting particularly defensive about this? And I think it's always important to have a look kind of at yourself. It's really apparent when I do some of like the body image, like, posts, and then people think, it's like reverse fat shaming. It's like, no, it's just pulling people out for skinny shaming. When I do posts on comparing mental illness to like physical health, some people get really defensive, and it's like, okay, that's fine, you can go on whatever rampage you want, but that's because you automatically assume that I am invalidating physical illness by comparing it to mental illness. And if you say it's not comparable, well, then you're probably the person that I'm trying to talk to the most. And I just think it's kind of, it's funny, like, assuming makes an ass out of you. We need to just stop assuming that we know what people think and we know what people mean, because all we can really do is like theorize. All we can really do is go, okay, if I was in that position, if I said something like that, if I had done that, then this is like my understanding of why I would do it. It's not like why someone else did it. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our own reasons. And instead of like looking at the reasons or just taking the time to try and understand, we jump to these like ridiculous conclusions. And I just think that's super annoying and super frustrating, and I see it every single day in real life and online life, and I just think we need to stop doing that. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to have an opinion on a matter, but you need to know that it is just an opinion. And if you think you're entitled to an opinion, that means everyone else is entitled to an opinion too. So just keep that in mind, guys. And if you like this video, thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And please subscribe, because there are 2 awesome videos coming every day at the moment, because I'm super motivated to let you guys know my thoughts. So let me know what you think.